Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being here to both of these candidates. What we will do is the same format that we just did. You will each have 2 minutes to give us an opening statement, and then we will go through some prepared moderator questions. We have some questions that have been submitted from the audience, and then we will give you your 2 minutes to wrap up at the end. So with that being said, we will go first by ballot order. Denise Dickens, would you please tell us who you are, why you're running, and what unique perspective you bring to this office? You have 2 minutes.
My name is Denise Dickens, and I am your Stone County Clerk. I have been an employee at Stone County for 38 years. 22 years of those I've spent in the county clerk's office and 5 as your county clerk. So I bring to the table all of my experience and my knowledge that I have in the clerk's office. I graduated from Crane School. My dad graduated there, my kids, grandkids, so Stone County is my home, and I am not going anywhere. I love this county, and if anybody that's ever been in any meetings with me, they know that I love my job, and I want to continue to do my job. And I feel like that with my budgeting experience, because I'm the clerk to the county commissioners, I work well with all the other elected officials, and that is one thing I think about Stone County when we go to conferences. We're very fortunate here in Stone County that all of our elected officials, sometimes we can agree to disagree, but we do well for make the best decisions for the people of Stone County.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Cash, would you tell us who you are, why you are running, and what unique perspective you bring to this office? You have 2 minutes.
My name is Dave Cash, and I would like your support for the August 4th primary, being the county clerk. So I have a career in law enforcement, 22 years, 21 of it spent at the Springfield Police Department, where I worked several different specialized assignments. One of them was community-oriented policing, where I was given a problem in the community and told to address it and take care of it. That and many other assignments I've worked is all networking. When I was with the Federal Fugitive Task Force with the U.S. Marshals, detached to the U.S. Attorney's Office, I worked with a lot of federal agencies and county and city officers in other states and in our state. And so, again, there's a lot of networking. I've always been a public servant. We've worked, Melody and I, my wife here, we worked 14 years as directors of a non-denominational church camp involving children, junior high and teens. And that 14 years we're the director, so we're doing everything behind the scenes to make sure it runs smoothly. That was all non-compensated, so a public servant to the youth. And then also a nonprofit athletic organization out of Springfield. When I took over as chairman of the board, there were only 5 teams. When I left, there were 17 teams and 100 kids. Another example of non-compensatory. I've done my due diligence. I've spoke to current and former county clerks. I've spoke to current and former individuals that work in the county clerk's office. And I've also spoke to approximately 800 to 1,000 voters in Stone County, and they've taught me a lot. And I'm here to be a public servant. And I believe my education, my experience and background makes me very well qualified to be your next county clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, both of you have 90 seconds for the upcoming questions. We will go ahead and start with Denise Dickens. If elected, what are your top 3 priorities during the first year?
Well, as your county clerk, the things that I always focus on is our elections. The safety and security and integrity of our elections. We also, in my office, I don't know if a lot of people know, but we also do all the payroll for all of the employees, and then we do all accounts payable. So those are like the top 3 responsibilities that are in my job, plus numerous other duties. So I'm the candidate with the experience. I want to continue to do the job that I was elected to do. Governor Parsons appointed me to this position in 2021, and then in 2022, you all humbled me by hiring me to be your county clerk. So I feel like that I have the experience already to continue to do the job that I am serving the county.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cash, if elected, what are your top 3 priorities during the first year?
One of the first things is that I would want to make sure that that I have a chief deputy. I want to make sure that somebody is it can take over and do my job if you're pulled away. The county clerk does a lot of stuff, touches almost everything in the county government, and I want to make sure that I'm not intimidated by having smart, intelligent people that are even better than me. I prefer that. So I would have a chief deputy clerk. I am going to try to persuade the commissioners, but one of the things is a trend across the United States right now, and other counties have this, and other states have this, and that's a transparency portal. And I love that word. It's a transparency to the people where you can go in to a website and you can see exactly where all the expenditures are going. You can even go so far, they ratcheted it down in one county to where you can click on checks and you can see every check that was written by the county, who it was for and what it was for. I would also work on evaluating the office. I don't mean to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I would take a look, because I'm an outsider and I'm new, I would take a look at everything and I would evaluate what's best to streamline, what's modern, make everything modern, streamlined, and also best practices statewide and countywide. And I think I'm out of time.
Thank you very much. We will start with Mr. Cash on this question. How would you, speaking to your answer, how would you modernize county records and make them more accessible to the public?
That's one of the things, you may be asking this later, but one of the things with my motto is Cash for Change, and in the June 11th candidate forum with the Republican Central Committee, I had 7. I'm now up to 11 things that I would like to look at changing. And a little nervous on the question, but what was it again?
It said, how would you modernize county records?
Okay, yes. One of the things is, and this is another trend, and it may already have occurred, I'm not really communicating with the county clerk's office because I'm running for that, but one of the things that's another trend is modernizing all the paper records and making them digital, digitizing everything. Another thing that I would like to do is make it to where, because I've talked to some voters and they have brought up that the website, it's funny that Gordon mentioned this is one of my things, that website needs to be revamped from the scratch. And I've had some comments that, look, I know the information's in there, but there's so many tabs and buttons, it took me 45 minutes and I couldn't find it and I gave up. So I would revamp that, and in the process, I want to make accessibility. This is one of the definitions for the word transparency. I want to make it easily accessible. I want you to be able to go in. You should be able to just go in and type something in a dialog box, and you can find it and take you right to it. I want to make sure that everything's easily accessible. And last thing is that I would even look at civic training to the public to teach them more about the office.
Thank you very much. Ms. Dickens, same question to you. How would you modernize county records and make them more accessible to the public?
Well, right now, I have a website. It's called stonecountyclerk.com. And right now, you can go out there and you can see county commissioner minutes from 2020. You can see election results back from 2012 to present. We also put out there our aggregate assessed valuations for each entity, and those go back to 2024 to current. We also, you can click on the election tab, and then you can also see a copy of your sample ballot. You can see if you are a registered voter. You can download and apply for an absentee ballot off of my website that we already currently have.
Thank you very much. We will go ahead, we'll start with Ms. Dickens for this question. How would you strengthen election integrity while maintaining voter confidence?
Well, as your county clerk, the elections fall onto my office. And we already work with the Secretary of State's office. We have, every 2 years, we have a company that comes in that's been paid by from the Secretary of State's office. And they do cybersecurity. They see if they can get into any of our networking on any of our computers. My office, we are on our own network. We are not connected to any of the other offices. And what was the other question?
It said strengthen election integrity and maintain voter confidence.
Just yesterday, we had a training for our election workers for the August 4th election. When you have we have a federal question, candidate on there. So when we do that, we have to have an ADA machine. We only use that every 2 years. So just yesterday, we had about 54 of our 90 judges come in, and we had training on the equipment.
All right, thank you very much. I will say, Mr. Cash, same question. How would you strengthen election integrity while maintaining voter confidence?
It was mentioned that the individuals were trained, and I'm very pro-training. I'm big into training, and that's something I'd want to also address. But it was addressed to the staff and employees, but I want the public to be educated, and I want to communicate that education. So one of the things another county is doing in the state is they have like civic training. They actually work with the schools and educate the individuals. They have like, you can come in and they will show you the office once or twice a year. And you'd have to be careful. I don't think 1,000 would show up, but you actually have an open house. And I don't think that's a term they use, but I would have where the public can come in and see the county clerk's office, and we would show them everything and answer any questions the public has. But I would also do it like a little short 1 or 2 minute video that says how to register to vote, where to go. And I would do election integrity, what machines we use, what's modernized, what's updated. I think it's education, accessibility, and communicating that to the public and letting them know that there's an open policy and they can call, they can come in, they can ask at any time.
Thank you very much. We will start this question with Mr. Cash. What leadership quality do you possess that your opponents may not?
Well, I briefly touched on my background and experience. I also worked overseas, a year in Iraq and 4 in Afghanistan with the Army and the Marines. I was able to go out and do combat missions. I was always assigned to the intelligence section, so I worked a lot with the intel, with the Iraqis and the Afghans, and also the terrorists and the Talibans, and pushed that forward to higher headquarters. Overseas, when I was working in Kandahar, Afghanistan, I had 18 LEP, law enforcement professional investigators, in 6 provinces in Afghanistan, and I had to manage all those 18 investigators. In the private sector in Springfield, my most recent job was a couple years ago. I had 17 people across 3 departments. So it's important to understand that the county clerk is responsible for everything that goes through that office. The buck stops there. They're the ones that are held accountable. But they have a staff of 6. So it's managing that staff of 6 and making sure that they're well equipped to be able to do whatever they can.
All right, Ms. Dickens, same question to you. What leadership qualities do you possess that your opponents may not?
Well, I have the experience. Like I said, I've been an employee of Stone County for 38 years. A lot of our elected officials that I work with, they started out as employees also. And so like our collector, she's been there 29 years. Our treasurer has been there 33 years. Our recorder's been there 31 years. So what I possess is a working relationship with all of our elected officials already. And I do have a staff that they are very knowledgeable of their jobs. We do cross-train. They're very professional in their jobs. And I am honored to get to work with them every day. Another thing, I am proud to have been endorsed by the realtors, and I've also been endorsed by the MRA, and I'm very proud of those 2 endorsements. But what I bring to this office is my experience.
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Dickens, we will start with you. Let's see. In the county clerk's office, what is your priority as far as customer service to the citizens of Stone County?
Anybody that walks into, I have actually had a few folks that were a little skeptical of the election process and how it worked, and I did invite them into my office, and I sit down with them and talked about the procedures that we have for our elections. But anytime anybody comes into my office, my staff is cheerfully, professionally willing to help them out in any way they can. If there is something in my office that somebody comes and asks a question and it's not something that my office does, well, we transfer their phone call or we send them to the correct office. So with my staff and myself, we can usually always get an answer for the folks that come into our office.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Cash, same question. How would you prioritize customer service in the county clerk's office?
Well, I think I addressed that a little bit in the last question, but I really want to make everything accessible by computer and also in person. I mentioned a minute ago that I've learned from some other counties, one in particular in Missouri and some other states, they have once or twice a year where the public can come in and actually get a tour and sit down and ask questions and see everything and answer any questions they may have. I want to really push accessibility, and going out and talking to the voters is very time consuming, but the people of Stone County have really educated me and taught me a lot, and I'm still continuing to learn from the residents and citizens of Stone County. So that may be a little bit more time consuming, but talking to the people is how you learn what is needed for your county clerk's office.
Thank you very much. Those are the moderator questions. We do have some questions that have been submitted from the audience, and we just have a few. Let's see. This question specifically is for Mr. Cash. So since this one is for you as an individual, what we'll do is we'll give you 90 seconds to answer, and then Ms. Dickens, what I will do is give you some additional time to respond to his answer if you would like to, and you don't have to if you would not like to. The question from the audience is, what does Mr. Cash plan to bring to the office that he feels isn't already present?
Well, with the risk of being a broken record and redundant, I want to make sure we have a chief deputy clerk. In the June 11th, last month, the Republican Central Committees, I brought this up, and then it was brought to my attention that we already have a chief deputy clerk. And I'm not trying to, I'm just questioning the process. I want to be positive here. But the citizens of Stone County didn't know that. Maybe some of the supporters of Denise or maybe the office knew that. But only after I brought it up in a public forum in the middle of a campaign was we made aware that there is a chief deputy clerk, which then made me ask, is that person got the authority? And on your website, it's never been mentioned. How long has this person been the chief deputy clerk? I know I'm kind of belaboring that, but I want to make sure that someone can do everything in my absence if I'm pulled away for elections or for the commissioners meeting or whatever. So the question again was?
What do you plan to bring to the office that you feel
I've mentioned some other things, the transparency portal. Do you know some other states, like the entire state of Florida has a sunshine portal. The sunshine law is overused and misused. And I'm not pointing just this county, it is, but it's statewide and nationwide, and I'm going to have a sunshine portal where within the compliance of the law, a lot of stuff is immediately available and you don't have to jump through hoops or fill out a sunshine request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Dickens, since that question was just addressed to Mr. Cash, I will give you the opportunity to respond if you would like to.
Okay.
Okay. The next question is, what do you foresee as the biggest challenge for the county clerk's office in the next 5 years? We'll start with Mr. Cash, please.
Gordon kind of touched on this, but we're going to become a class 2. That comes with so many responsibilities, and by law, you're required to have a state auditor. So I'm nervous, and I kind of have to have you repeat the question,
sure.
But one of the pressing things I see is as we move to a class 2 and then a class 1, and I'm sure some of you here in this audience know that Taney County went from a class 3 right to a class 1. There's a lot more responsibility. There's certain things that are dictated by state statute and ordinance that you have to do that now we're doing that is not necessarily, it's a best practice. We're not required by state statute or ordinance. So I think the pressing thing is modernize as best as possible everything you can. I'm going to constantly look at best practices nationwide and statewide, and that may already be happening, but that's what I promise the people. And I'm also going to have accessibility. Everything's going to be accessible as much as you possibly can within the law. They just go to a website, they click on something, they don't spend an hour digging through it. I mentioned the growth. There's going to be more responsibility in the county clerk's office and the commissioners, and there'll probably be more employees, and you'll be managing a lot more responsibility. So I see those as the three things to prepare for, and that's why I believe I'm very well positioned to take this on, and I would look forward to do that.
All right, Ms. Dickens, same question to you. What do you see as the most important challenges and issues for your office in the next 5 years?
Well, one of the biggest issues that we have is getting people to the polls to vote. You can register to vote online. You can go to the DMV. You can go to social services. You can come to my office to register to vote. Our biggest challenge is getting people to go and vote. This past April, we had a 31% turnout, and we were just floored. It was huge. Typically, we actually bought ballots for about 35% turnout, because typically when the sheriff had the Prop P on there, we had a 17% turnout, and we thought that was just huge. So I'm always continuing to update our election equipment. Right now, we have the Unison equipment, and it is the most up-to-date certified equipment that there is. I also have got some grant money that we are updating our poll pads, and those are when you go to vote, when you sign your name. We are continuing to upgrade those as they get obsolete. So, what was the other question?
Just issues and challenges for the office.
Oh, getting people to the polls is the biggest challenge.
Thank you very much. We only had 3 audience submitted questions, and the last one is basically the same as the first one, which was to Mr. Cash. Why do you specifically want to run for this office at this time? So I feel like we've had the opportunity to answer that with that first question, what do you bring to the office? Or what would you bring to the office? So at this time, what we will do is we will allow each candidate to give their 2-minute closing statements. And in order to randomize it, I will have Mr. Cash pick a number between 1 and 10.
3.
Okay, Ms. Dickens?
8.
Oh, well, the number was 8. Oh my goodness, okay. I think 2 candidates have picked the number that I was thinking, so we need a better system next time. Anyway, Ms. Dickens, since you picked the number, would you like to go first or last?
Last, please.
You'd like to go last. All right. Well, Mr. Cash, would you please give your final statement? You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thanks again for everybody taking their time out of their day to come and listen to us. I'm sure you got more important things to do, but I appreciate you coming, and for the 3 sponsors that sponsored it. So I mentioned earlier, I've done my due diligence, and I continue to do my due diligence. I'm a former criminal investigation division in Springfield PD, and when I was overseas, I was an investigator, and I've done in specialized assignments. 4 different assignments were investigations. So I've done my due diligence. I can continue to do so. My evaluations over the last 30 years is attention to detail and leaves no stone unturned. So I will continually evaluate and analyze everything in the office, and even as I work with if elected, work with the commissioners on moving Stone County forward and preparing for it to be a Class 2. The most important thing I want to stress is that we are public servants, and I'm the new guy, I'm the outsider. I think it's a good thing. I've mentioned several changes, and that's from the outsider. Imagine what I can do if I'm on the inside. But I want to really stress that the Great Seal of Missouri says, "In God we trust," in English, but right below that, and I'm a little nervous, and I'm not trying to impress, but this just brought up to me last month on talk radio, conservative talk radio, but the Great Seal of Missouri has Latin, and it's Salus Populi Suprema Les Exto, which means let the supreme law, let the welfare of the people be the supreme law. And that is my motto. I am here for the people. I've already talked to, like I told you, I'm going door to door. I'm learning from the citizens. I'm learning from the public. Different things are important, but I am here as a servant. And at this point, coming in new, I will not lose sight of that. I serve you, not the other way around.
Thank you very much. Ms. Dickens, if you would give us your final statement, please, in 2 minutes.
Again, I am a Stone County resident. I've been here, I'm 59, so I've been here my whole life. I am committed to the community. I am also, me and my husband are both Central Committee people for the Lincoln Precinct. I'm also part of the Republican club that we have, and I am also part of the MRA. So I'm the candidate with the experience. I'm the candidate that loves her job, and I want to continue to be your county clerk, and I'm going to ask for your vote on August the 4th.